Hey, welcome to this week's CRS in 3 minutes or less. We got a lot to cover, so we're just going to hit the ground running, literally. Here we got some shots of the PE classes out doing some fitness training. Here we've got some shots of the yearbook staff sporting their shirts, getting ready to go do some ad sales. I hear they knocked it out of the park. Here we've got a shot of the world history class doing their build your own civilization project. And don't knock it, man. It's not as easy as it looks to start from scratch. Speaking of going back in time, here we've got the fashion class doing some Greek fashion. I don't really know how you go from this to, this, but it was fun. We were having a good time. So, good for them. Speaking of other things coming out of the facts class, here's the child development class doing their researcher project, doing a little box. Here's Sigmund Freud's. I'm glad they left this one plain since some of the stuff he thinks would probably scare small children. Speaking of things that'll scare you, here we've got a inside the teenage brain art project. It's pretty cool stuff. Also, just had to show it. Somebody painted the cross-country training partner. That's amazing. Breathtaking realism. Here we've got some general rules. This come from Mrs. Foster's middle school science class. I always thought it was pretty simple. Here are the rules. Always wear safety glasses. No one ever talks about any plans to take over the world with stuff we learned in science class. Speaking of science club, here we've got some future brainiacs there with Mrs. Peasley, and I saw this and I had to share Mrs. Peasley's birthday in 1607 on a very brief timeline. Speaking of birthdays... There's nothing quite like celebrating your birthday at school, especially when part of that celebration is getting cooked in a scooter race. Here's some others.
You got one! You got one! Oh, he's going. Come on, Brennan!
Well, I like to think the third hour PE class puts on quite a show. We didn't have quite as big of a turnout as we did for Friday Night Lights. First football game of the season was quite the spectacle. We had a great crowd. Big showing for veterans. As for the game, there's plenty to cheer for. Here we got a nice stop on defense. Even though we got stopped there, we did manage to throw it into the end zone on the next play on the way to a 20-14 victory. Play the fight song. Well, this week football's got to share the spotlight as volleyball opens up. They've got a couple of games this week and bands in action. And I'm going to let the band play us out of here.